Gilbert, before Sunday's game, I wrote, and I even said it on WhatsApp Bolts. If the Chargers won this game, I'd be very impressed. Especially because coming into the game, there was a lot of smoke around Jameis Winston, a lot about that team. Hey, maybe they can go on a run now that Deshaun Watson is gone. They beat the Baltimore Ravens the week prior. He had 330. He threw for 334. He had 3 touchdowns. The offense looked brand new. The defense looked like they were playing tough as well. And the Chargers go in there and they dominate the Browns 27-10. Gilbert, what was your impression of that game?
Well, first of all, I'm sure Dan was doing a victory dance when he saw that I picked the Browns for the week. The curse there lives on for him. He was so excited. I'm sure he was. And shout out to Chargers fans. I did that on purpose. Reverse jinx right there, or reverse curse to have the Browns, who put up a pathetic effort, by the way. I can't believe I did that. In all seriousness, but one thing I am a little surprised about, Fernando. I'm gonna praise the crap out of the Chargers, but I am surprised how the other national people are also praising the Chargers. I'm like, no one's going to give them credit because they played a terrible Browns team. And then I look around today, like everybody's doing it. I'm like, crap, I guess I wasn't the only one, because I pretty much wrote here, like maybe it's a hot take, but it's time to stop overlooking Jesse Minter's defense. Like I get it. Maybe the lack of opponents is hurting him a little bit, but that's 8 games now of allowing 12.6 points per game. So that's a big enough sample size. They did it to the Cardinals. They did it to the Chiefs. That's 2 games. And then with the Steelers, even into a point, the Steelers weren't doing much. Like what, 20 points, right, Fernando? So that defense is legit. Now the other problem, okay, when will you see the progress with Justin Herbert, and Greg Roman and the wide receivers? And we're seeing that too now. And I'll give you credit here, Fernando. And you said it maybe a couple of weeks ago when I was starting to come around on the Chargers a little bit. And as everybody knows here, I'm a little more reserve when it comes to me giving praise to the Chargers. But you said it, Fernando. You said uh, teams might not want to face this team in the playoffs. And I'm like, after watching that Browns game, I'm like, Fernando was right. You got a dominant defense, a good running game, a good quarterback, and a very good coach in Jim Harbaugh. So, maybe I still believe in the 2-year plan for Jim Harbaugh, but now I'm getting to a point, Fernando, where this first year for Jim Harbaugh, they could maybe win a playoff game. They could definitely be dangerous. And I get it. They're from LA. They like the sunny weather, but I wouldn't count out this team going to Buffalo in the cold.
Yeah, I know.
Talking about going back to Pittsburgh in the cold. They know how to run the freaking football. They know how to play smash mouth football. And everybody was complaining about Greg Roman and not being able to use Justin Herbert. Well, he's probably been one of the best quarterbacks of the past month. He only has one interception,
2
and
total turnovers.
turnovers, and in the past 4 games, he's averaging for like 286 passing yards. Doing great in terms of a touchdown or interception ratio. Quentin Johnson stepping up, Lam McConkey stepping up here. So J.K. Dobbins is doing good again. So you have all the recipes to be a dangerous playoff team. Again, it's tough to compare them to the Ravens and the Chiefs there. But like you mentioned, Fernando, I keep going back to it. You're right. This team could be very dangerous come December and January. And I want to see them in a cold game, Fernando. I want to see Jim Harbaugh, physical smash mouth football in a cold game in December. Maybe we could look at the schedule later on. But once I see that, I could check it off the box too.
At Kansas City, week December 7th or December 8th, one of those. And they go to New England December 28th.
Okay.
So you'll see a
Jim
little bit of
Harbaugh
that.
football very quick in year 1.
Now, I'll tell you one thing. Well, I'll go with what you're saying about the defense. I think this defense is very good. I think and I know people were saying, well, they haven't played anybody. Well, they haven't. Dude, it doesn't matter. You have to play who's in front of you, and they're playing and they're doing well. They've done what there's no sample. It's not like a small sample size. They've done it to every single team
half a year
this year. The only game that got away from them was the Steelers game, and that was they only scored 20 points. That's what's remarkable about this. Now, can they keep it up? I think so, but like I was telling Dan yesterday, the offense needs to be more consistent. And that is my biggest concern right now about this team is that there was a point yesterday, right around the end of the third quarter, they turned to the defense, and that was on the sideline, like going through stuff. Denzel Perryman looked like he was breathing for air. and the like they need to be able to move the ball consistently, and that's what I wrote about in the second half. Justin Herbert threw for 32 yards, and they had off of the blocked field goal, they had a cute little, or they had a good run by J.K. Dobbins, who, by the way, it's starting to look better and better. He's over 600 yards, and I think he's at 4 or 5 touchdowns. So it's looking good. No, I think he has more, but it's looking good for me. But the thing is, they need consistency, and yes, they're gonna get guys back. DJ Chark is coming, who knows when, but Gus Edwards is coming as well. The only thing is, I would still make a trade. They have to go get something. And I wrote, do you remember Duke Manyweather,
Yeah, the
the
online
trainer?
coach. Yeah.
Today he put out a good point on Twitter. Now that the Saints are in a fire sale, go get Eric McCoy, their center. Yes, they just gave him a 5-year, $60 million extension, but you have to pay a center whatever they want. And I know Bozeman is a good guy, and everybody is hyped up about what he did with Herbert, but him and Zion Johnson are a lot of the problem of why they can't run the ball in between the guards, in between the tackles, in between the center. And that's where all the pressure is coming towards Justin Herbert, is through the middle. You could go get an Eric McCoy and plug him in there as your center. I know it's a big ask
Money.
to get
Yeah.
a player like this, but the Saints are desperate. They have 60 million in cap. Whatever GM, I don't know if they're going to bring in a new GM or not, but whatever head coach comes in here, they're going to have 60 million over the cap. I would go and ask for Eric McCoy, bring him in at center, and I'd try and do something like that. Or go get Brandon Sheriff from the
I was gonna say
Jaguars
that. That's
and plug
perfect.
him in
Easier.
at left guard. Whichever, and he's a free agent after this year. Whichever one, but they need to fix this offensive line.
Yeah,
These
to me,
guys are not good.
yeah,
The front three.
yeah. I know there's issues on in terms of the roster. Like, if you rather have better defensive backs there, but with the way Jesse Minster is coaching, like, I'm okay with whatever they're putting out there. Like, that's a good coach right there. Just plug and play, follow the scheme, play fast, make turnovers, make life miserable for the offense. I'm okay with that. So I'm with you, Fernando. Make everything for the next 24 hours. The focus is getting an offensive lineman to help out the interior. You're set with Joe Alt. You're set with Rashawn Slater. And yeah, I'm kind of like kicking myself because a couple weeks ago I said it's more of a 2-year plan, but now, like, get a little more aggressive. You could definitely be a team in the mix to be the Final Four in the AFC. It's wide open, and like I mentioned, my Texans are a fraud. The Ravens keep losing to terrible teams like the Browns and the Raiders. Can we really trust them? I'm not really high on the Bills. They had a pretty close game against the Dolphins. Obviously, I'm very high on the Chiefs. We'll watch the Chiefs tonight for Monday Night Football, but
No, we're not.
well, yeah, it's a Buccaneers, so it'll probably be 8-0.
If
But
it was Mike Evans and all those guys on there, I'd be like, all right, cool.
maybe
Like
even
right
then,
now, Adam Schefter just put is right here. Zadarius Smith, Adam Thielen, Darius Slayton, Mike Williams, Aziz Ojolari, Calais
yeah.
Campbell, and Marshawn Lynch are the main players that he's hearing that could be moved.
You said Marshawn Lynch?
Marshawn Lattimore. I apologize.
Yeah.
Man, if I'm the Chargers, Calais Campbell would look
Oh yeah.
beautiful on my defensive line. Out of those receivers, I'm gonna probably surprise some people. I'd rather go get Darius Slayton than Mike Williams.
He's been the leading receiver on paper, at least for the Giants there.
And he had 2 big games against the Steelers, and I think it was the Seahawks. So two good defenses, and he did well against them, to be honest. By the way, I think from Ireland, right? That's our buddy from Ireland.
There goes Marshawn Lynch. All good things there. Shout out to you.
Oh my God, where was that? This from Ireland. You're from Ireland.
Yeah.
Okay. That was another thing that I noticed yesterday. Eli Apple was playing a lot, but you didn't notice him.
Plug and play.
Exactly.
Minter, man.
It's incredible the way this system. Right now, the Charger fans are really excited because they have 2 young cornerbacks that they're thinking, crap, if we end up losing one of these guys, they could be our corners for years to come. Now, I did write as another trade candidate, Greg Newsome in the slot with these guys would be really good, especially when you play a team like Kansas City, who they're still saying could add another receiver to this. The more corners you can get, yes, but I do think that it. By the way, going back to the Asante Samuel, somebody asked about Asante Samuel Jr. Jim said on Friday, or was it Wednesday? Kind of went back and forth with Pop over this. It was Wednesday. He was very like, he's like, oh, it's gonna be a team decision, a player decision, and a family decision on when he comes back. I'm like, ooh, that sounds like he might be out a little bit longer than what everybody anticipated. So, and Christian Fulton's banged up too. So I don't know. If I'm the Chargers, I would I would
They're still
definitely look.
stopping offenses for and keeping them to 17 points or less. So
I know, but
uh,
you're about to face the
yeah, the
Bang.
Bengals.
You're
Yeah,
about to go Bengals,
yeah,
Ravens,
that's gonna be.
Falcons, Chiefs, and Tampa Bay. And I bet you by that point, Tampa Bay is going to be healthy for that game.
Wait, is the Bengals one already next week, or is
No,
that 2 weeks from now?
yeah, Bengals one is next Sunday. Not this Sunday's the Titans. Next Sunday is the Bengals game.
No, I think it. Oh, the Titans. Okay, gotcha. Got Titans,
Yeah,
and then
Bengals is
okay, that's a
yeah.
W, and then we'll really find out about these charges with the Bengals, Ravens, and Falcons. So yeah, it's a good time. They're in a good place here at the halfway point of the season.
Yeah. No, and again, I still think that they need to work on some things, but yeah, like you said, don't mortgage the future to win right now. I get that, but if you can get guys who are on 1 year like they could even do more than one. They could go get a Darius Slayton and a Brandon Sheriff from the Jaguars, do two moves, do stuff like that. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I think they might be, because Dan asked me, and I think they're going to be pretty active in the trade deadline the next. What do you think? Do you think they'll make a move or no?
The Chargers?
Yeah,
I think so, and I just saw the Cardinals make a move. They're a team that nobody
that was a good
expected,
one.
so they made a move for an edge rusher. So I think if you're in a good spot right now, why not do it? There's so many. I'm really hoping for a busy trade deadline. I know it's not like baseball or NBA, but like there's like 8 or 9 teams with 2 wins or less. So those teams look in the mirror and start wheeling and dealing. So all these contenders will get some players here. Should be hopefully it's a fun deadline tomorrow.
If my brother, but listen to my brother, do not trade with the Chiefs. That's what he
Obviously, yeah,
that's
yeah,
what he wants.
right.
But no, but I completely agree. And I read what you wrote yesterday, and you are right. Like they get in the playoffs, it's gonna be one of those teams where you're like crap because of what Hayden, and I go back to this because it was months ago, but Hayden Hurst said it. When it gets down to the fourth quarter, you're like, crap, we still have another quarter to play against these guys. And remember, the Chargers are only 7 or 9 games into this, or 7 games. What are they? 5-3. They're 8 games into this. It's still, I mean, when they get guys back, they could get better. If they make trades, they could get better. So
Yeah.
that's definitely going to be interesting.